Hello, and welcome everyone to Cancer Support Community. We're excited to provide our seated Tai Chi class. We want you to take advantage of all of our programs open to everyone. So please go to our website, www.cancersupportohio.org, or call 614-884-HOPE. That's 614-884-4673. My name is Kathy. I'm a Tai Chi instructor for Cancer Support Community Central Ohio, and I've been a student of Tai Chi for about 13 years. For me, Tai Chi is all about mindful movement. It's a chance to shut out so much of what's happening outside of me and go inside to link my mind and my body through soft and easeful movement. When I can do this, I believe I've created space for myself to enhance both my physical and mental well-being. This is not going to be a form class. For simplicity, I've grouped movements based on Tai Chi principles. And as we go through, I'll help you to know the purpose of each group of movements, as well as tips for each exercise. I'd like to demonstrate each exercise before we do it together, and then have our practice time be a more silent time for us to go deeper inside. If you can choose your chair, ideally you would like one with a hard surface. Mine has no arms, which is going to be more free for my movement. And you'll notice that I'm also sitting toward the front of my chair with my feet relaxed softly flat on the floor. From the side, it would look like this. I want to feel that I'm balanced on my sits bones or my sitting bones, because it's our sits bones that are going to act as our feet throughout our exercises. Let's set the stage and start to go inside with some mindful breathing. When we can shift to a deep and slow breathing pattern, that's a signal to our brain and nervous system that everything is okay. And this is when our heart rate can slow, our blood pressure lowers, our muscles are able to relax. We feel more peaceful and in the moment. We're going to do a simple 5-second inhale through our nose, followed by a 5-second exhale through our mouth. When we inhale, we want to feel ourselves blowing up like a balloon, really oxygenating our body and expanding these tissues. The exhale, you want to feel as if you're blowing out birthday candles. It's this long, more extended exhale that's an extra hug to our nervous systems. When we begin, you can rest your hands lightly in your lap. Some people like to feel the rhythm of their breathing, either this way or this way. You might find this a comforting pose. It's an extra little okay for yourself. But find what is comfortable for you. We will close our eyes. I am not going to count our inhales and exhales out loud. I want you to find a breathing pattern that works for you and not need to worry about following my pattern. So gently close your eyes. Find that comforting spot for your hands. And feel the muscles of your forehead and all the small muscles around your eyes open up and relax. Feel your jaw grow heavy as your neck relaxes and lengthens. Your shoulders relax, and all of your weight slides down your spine and into your sits bones. I'm going to begin my first inhale. And if you finish before me, then just relax in your rhythm until you hear the sound of my voice. When you're ready, gently open your eyes and we'll begin our movement. We're going to expand on our very inside relaxed feeling right now by activating our balance centers. We have 3 primary balance centers in our body. One that allows us to move around our hips, one that allows us to move our shoulders, and one that's responsible for the balance of our neck and head. We often become disconnected from these centers, relying on our muscles rather than our tissues to provide us the balance and support that we need. The movements that we'll do for this exercise are very small and subtle. They're going to happen deep inside of you. For each center, the visualization that's helpful is if a part of our body is orbiting the sun. You can think about the part of your body that we're working as orbiting your spine with very small inside movements. For the first one, it's helpful to think about your belly button making these circles. You will see and you will feel your own body shift, but it's coming from the movement rather than me shifting itself. We'll do 5 in each direction. Ready? And reverse. And now let's go up our body to our sternum and choose a point on your sternum to make those same circular movements around your spine. We'll do 5 again in each direction. And the other way. And finally up to our head and neck. For this one, it's most helpful to imagine your nose making those small circles that we want in each direction. And let's do 5 each way again. And back again. That's it. You may feel a change in your balance already as we hook up and link these centers together. Our opening exercises are to open and soften our body. These are going to work our body in different directions. This first one is called parting clouds. And I'm going to show you some principles involved in parting clouds as well as the other movements that we'll do. For parting clouds, I want to begin with my fingers going up the middle of my body. And in Tai Chi, we often talk about holding a ball. And so as I come down, I want to think that I am going around the outside of a ball. You can make your ball as large or as small as you want. and even change it from time to time. So it can be a large yoga sitting ball. It can be a small ball like a bowling ball. Do what's comfortable for you. If you find that you have pain in your shoulders as you do this exercise, two things that you can do is just not make your clouds as high. They can be low-hanging clouds, and this can change for you over time. The other principle you can think about is that all of my motion is going to be starting from my fingertips. If I send my fingertips up, I'm not using the muscles in the other parts of my body. They're following along, but they are not responsible for the movement itself. From the side, parting clouds looks like this. My hands are out in front of me, and my rule for you in all of our movements is going to be make sure that you can see your elbows and your hands out in front of you. If my shoulders are pulled back, this is creating a lot of stress and tension on my body. We want to open up this way. My fingers are creating the motion up and then circling my ball all the way back down. Let's part our clouds 5 times. So making sure you're sitting up on the front of your chair, feet relaxed flat on the floor and balanced over your sitting bones. And circle your ball. And one more time. Very nice. Our next exercise is going to open me up this way. This is called broaden chest. I want to have my hands in front of me holding my ball again. I'm going to imagine that I have taffy stuck to my palms, and I'm going to pull out and stretch that taffy and squish it back in again. I want to feel that intention in my palms. This helps me keep my shoulders relaxed and not engaged, and adds more mindfulness to the movement. From the side, broaden chest looks like this. You'll see that my hands are still out in front of my body. I'm following the rule that I can see both my elbows and my fingers as I stretch my taffy and squish it back in. Let's do broaden the chest 5 times. Hold that ball. Feel that taffy between your palms and stretch it out. Last stretch. And squish it back in. And we'll move on to doing waves. Waves is now going to activate all of my body centers. The visual for this, as if a wave is coming in at me and is trying to push me back. But before I fall, I'm going to soften and push that wave back out again. So the wave comes in, it's rolling me back, but I'm going to soften and push it back out again. We want to put a lot of our tension in our spines this time, feeling our vertebra relax and fold and unfold again. From the side, waves looks like this. The wave comes in, tries to push me down, but I'm going to soften into it and push it back out. It comes in, and I soften into it to push it back out. You'll notice my softening is not a tipping forward, but it's just a softening of all of these muscles around here. I don't want to feel like I'm going forward on my feet, but still balanced over my sits bones. Ready? Let's try 5 waves. Wave is coming in, and I soften into it and push it back out. And here comes one more wave. And there it goes back out again. This next group of exercises is all about stretching our fascia. You might also have heard of fascia as connective tissue. It's a fibrous network that runs throughout all of our body, under our skin, around our organs, around our bones. It is this tissue system that is to provide us support and balance and fluidity in our movements. We're going to do these as gentle stretches. You never want to stretch to the point of pain. Our body's reaction to pain is to pull back, and that's the opposite of what we want. These exercises are designed just to lengthen and stretch that tissue system so that it can work more efficiently and be more connected with our balance centers and our muscles. I'm going to start you out with a challenge. This first one is called Walk in the Park, and it's going to have several parts. The first part will not be so hard, but it'll start to give us the feeling. For Walk in the Park, you're just going to reach out to me, really opening up your elbow. You'll notice that my hands each time are just starting on my ribs so that it's not an up movement, it's just an out movement. I'll show you from the side. So my elbows are stretching out and coming back in and out and coming back in. Since we're going to add on to this, let's just do 3 on each side. Really stretch those elbows out to me and let it relax. Now we're going to add a piece, and it's going to be a turn of our body. I know this will be hard for you at first because you'll want to be watching the screen to see what I'm doing, but as you're more familiar with this movement, it will become more natural and effective for you. The piece I'm going to add is as my arm comes out, I'm going to turn away from it. This is actually a natural follow through in our body, and it's going to give this move more stretch through my arm and down my side. For the turn, it's helpful if you think about your eyes leading the motion and looking behind you. Let's try 3 of these on each side. Great. That should have felt very different than when we were not doing the turn with it. Okay, our next add-on is going to be our feet. We're going to just let our hands be down for right now and understand the motion of our feet. Just as we wanted to open up our elbows, we now want to open up our knees. And so this is just a nice gentle kick forward. I'm trying not to raise my legs, but just do this kick out so I can feel the stretch behind my knees. From the side, it looks like this. Just opening up gently. Your feet don't need to be high. They can be close to the ground. In fact, you can do this with them touching the ground if that's better for you. Let's do 3 on each leg. Okay, not so hard yet, you think. Now we're going to put our arms and our feet together. So all the motions we've just practiced become one movement. So now, as my elbow's reaching out and I'm turning away, my alternate foot is going to stretch out. Now I'm really exaggerating this with my foot so you can see it. Your foot does not need to come that high off the ground. You may not think this is a walk in the park by the time we're done, but this does get easier over time as our brain straightens it all out. Ready? And 2 more each side. Nicely done. Let's pick some fruit. For picking fruit, I'm now going to create a stretch long in my body. I want to feel this stretch all the way from my fingertips all the way down to my sits bones. This is not putting my hand up behind my ear or over my ear. I always still want to follow the rule of I can see my elbow and my hand out in front of me. And so I'm more thinking of reaching to a corner that's out in front of me and to the side. The motions for this are, I'm going to pick fruit that's up high, and then I'm going to pick fruit that's beside me, and I'm even going to pick fruit that's down low. I'm going to show you this from the side so you can see a couple of things. One is when I'm reaching high, I can see my hand and my elbow out in front of me. To the side, you can put that nice follow-through turn-in that we started to explore and walk in the park. And when we're picking low fruit, what's most important is not to let your body follow your hand. You want to feel straight over your sits bones the whole time. This is going to increase the stretch as well as help us work on our balance. For picking fruit, let's go through each series once going down, and then we'll do it back up again. Reaching up high, feeling that stretch. And to the other corner. Let your body turn as it wants. To the side. And down. Keeping your back straight, really increasing that stretch. And let's start with our downs again to get back to our tall trees. That's it. Before we leave our arms and shoulders and hands, we're going to do something that increases our stretch this way. Now, the most important thing, two important things here. One, I can see my hands and my elbows the whole time. And the other is I'm not going to initiate this turn with my shoulders. This is initiating with my thumb to turn frontwards, and then my pinky to turn backwards. This lets our shoulders stay relaxed, not creating any stress or strain on them at all. From the side, it looks like this. So I'm going to start by holding my big ball out in front of me. My thumbs, you can't see me, my thumbs turn forward, and then my pinkies turn them back the other way. This is a really deep stretch, so let's just do 3 of these. My thumbs are going to start the motion forward and turn them as far as you can, and then let your pinkies turn them back the other way. Thumbs and pinkies. Once more. We're going to create a similar spiral now with our necks. So this is not a hard turn to the side, but this is going to be a spiral up. You can think about how the old barber poles spiral up, and this is what we want to do. It's helpful to lead this with your nose and your eyes, and I'm going to think about turning my neck to a corner behind me. Now, how far you go is how far you go. So don't do anything that's painful or uncomfortable. We'll do 3 turns to each side. So first I'm going to turn to the left. And then follow my nose and eyes up to the right. We're going to give our hips and heels and feet a little love, even though we're not standing on them today. The nice thing about fascia work is that it's like a spider web. When a fly gets caught in a spider web, the whole web vibrates. So when we work our fascia in any part of our body, the whole system is loosened and stretched. For my first hips and ankles, I want to be with my feet a little bit more than hip bone distance apart, just to give your feet room to move, and it will increase the stretch that we want. I'm going to initiate each of these movements with my heels rather than my toes. So as my heels move toward each other, I'm going to feel these muscles and ligaments opening up. If I move my heels out the other way, I'm now going to feel the stretch down the outside of my thighs. If you're on carpet like I am, this motion may feel sticky. You can help yourself by thinking about pivoting on your toes, the balls of your foot, and see if that helps. Let's do 5 each way. I'm going to start with heels out and then bring them back in again. Well done. This last one in this section is for ankles. And the idea is I want to stretch out my leg with my foot flat on the floor until I can feel my ankle opening up at the end of that. We're just going to do 3 of these on each side, and then we're going to change this idea a bit. Now we're going to turn that same idea into circles. So I'm going to think about tracing a circle with the flat of my foot. So at all times, I still want to feel the flat of my foot on the floor. And we'll go both ways with our circles, one leg at a time. Let's do 3 one way, 3 the other, and then we'll switch legs. Ready? And back the other way. Now the other foot. And reverse. Awesome. Our last group of exercises are moves from Tai Chi. This first one is called ward off, and what these moves are going to offer us is more of a whole body movement. We've worked the different parts and now we want to link them together in a different way. This first move is ward off, and ward off is going to be large circles out in front of us. Ward off gets its name from warding off an opponent. You can see that I'm following the rule, my hand and elbow out in front of me at all times. You can see how far out in front this ward off is happening. And as you feel more comfortable with this move, allow your body to move with your hand. Again, these motions are initiated with my fingers, and I'm just letting my body follow along. Let's do 5 of these on each side. Ready? As you become comfortable with these movements, they become very fluid. But in the beginning, as you're learning and practicing, do that slow mindful so that you're really seeing what's happening with your body. This next movement is called cloud hands, and we're going to take the idea of the ball and we're going to do a small ball. It can be grapefruit size, bowling ball size, somewhere in there. And after we hold the ball, I'm going to think about moving with my elbow and carrying the ball to my side. You want this nice turn in your body, but remember our rule, we don't want our elbows going sliding in back of us. When I get to the end of my turn, I'm just going to turn my ball over and think about moving my elbow back the other way. My ball turns and moves back the other way. This idea of rolling your ball may feel awkward at first. What you'll realize is when you get to the end, there really is only one way to turn it. And so your brain will get that sorted out. Let's do cloud hands 5 times in each direction. So holding your ball and move toward the side with your hand on top. And turn your ball and carry it back the other way. And just like with ward off, over time, you can make this nice and fluid. And this becomes a nice wavy feeling in your body. Our last exercise in this section is called yield chest. The idea of yield chest is now to use my hand to come up one side of my body, across the top, and circle back down the other. When I get to this side, and this turn is what makes it possible for this hand to be ready to come back up, around, and down the other side. There are 2 ways that you can do your hand. You can keep your palm flat on your body as I have been doing. Our purpose when we do this in form is to move away from an opponent. Ward off was to keep them off. Yield chest is to move away from them. You can also do it with a cloud hands motion like this. So it's just what feels good to you, the level of challenge that you want to give yourself. Let's do 5 in each direction. And I'm going to do them with my palm on my body. That's great. You should feel very good that you have gotten this far. I often feel like I've worked my body more in a sitting class than a standing class. And truly, any of the motions that we've done can be done on your feet. But I think what sitting offers us is our hips can't follow us as they tend to do when we're standing. And so it really works on this separation between our waist and our hips in a way that's really helpful for our bodies. Let's bring our energy back down with a move that's called bringing down the heavens. And this will be our closing for today. I'm going to take us back to the idea of our soft rhythmic breathing. Bringing down the clouds is I'm going to circle my ball up to the top and then just lightly press everything back down. My inhale is as I'm going up. And my exhale as I'm going down. So my breath can be in tune with my movements. And you already know I'm going to say, make sure that you can see your elbows and your hands out in front of you. Let's do 5. Beautiful. If you can keep up consistent movement over the week in this way, this is what yields great changes over time. So I want to thank you for joining the Cancer Support Community Seated Tai Chi class. And remember to find more videos and our live virtual classes and share this with others as well. Go to www.cancersupportohio.org or call 614-884-HOPE. That's 614-884-4673. Have a beautiful day.